as a sales leader, have you noticed the world of selling just changing all around you? Well, in this video, we're going to be talking about how a world-class sales leader must adapt to the future of selling. This video is going to be an interview with Katie Ng-Mak, who is the VP of Global Partner Strategy and Operations at HubSpot. But she doesn't have a traditional sales background. In fact, Katie earned her MBA from Harvard Business School and has worked in finance, but now leads a large organization on the exact strategies that we're going to be talking about. Check it out. Katie, welcome. Glad to have you here today.
Thanks for having me, Mark.
So I want to just jump right into it. Given your background, what do you really see is changing in terms of the demands and the requirements of a world-class sales leader?
That's a great question. So I think when people think about sales leadership or like the typical salesperson, they think of someone who's really great with people, really great with relationships.
Yeah.
And I still think that's super important. I think that people who are in sales just need to be great at knowing like what really would make people tick.
Yeah.
But like I think the modern day sales leader need to have that skill. They also need to be very operationally driven. I think they also need to be very process oriented.
Yeah.
So like I think the modern day sales leader just needs to have like more skills under their belt, and they tend to lean more towards someone who have like a different set of capabilities than I think just a relationship savvy person.
Yeah, that makes sense. So it's no longer just this idea of having this kind of schmoozy archetypal guy or person that's just, great at being really charismatic, but it goes deeper. So when you talk about an operational skill set, what do you really mean by that?
So let me give you an example.
Yeah.
So I would say that when I started in sales 10 years ago, like the way I was told to make sales is I would pick up the phone, I would send emails, and those were the two tools that I used.
Yeah.
And then basically I would look at how many dials I made, how many emails I sent, how many connects I made, how many opportunities came from that, how many presentations, how many deals would close. And it's actually fairly simple, right? Like even then, I would say you would be considered sophisticated if you knew all those metrics.
Yeah.
Today, I think it's much more complicated. So let's say I have one of my reps and my reps are trying to build up their pipeline.
Yeah.
They would pick up the phone, they would send emails, they would send videos.
Yeah.
They would try to connect with prospects via text messaging, via chat. And the thing is that you need to meet prospects where they are nowadays, and you need to engage them how they want to be engaged.
Yeah.
So just off the bat, I named several ways by which you can just engage to connect. So all of a sudden, your entire operating system is just more complicated.
Yeah.
So as a sales leader, you actually need to understand all of that. I think you need to figure out what are the different tools that my team needs.
Yeah.
How do I enable them on these tools? How do I attract the engagement of all of that? And then how does that impact the rest of my process?
Yeah.
Right. So now I think that you need a sales leader who can kind of make these calls in a changing sales environment. Just know tools better, build a process, really do much more complicated enablement, and then figure out how to track all of this stuff, read the data, and call the next play.
Yeah, so what I'm hearing, and this definitely aligns with what I'm seeing in the field, is that we have obviously far more mediums in which we need to be connecting with prospects. And so that's a given. And so I think the organizations that I see that are successful, like you said, are able to build processes around that. So, but that's a big task, is building processes around not only what should people be using, but also how to track it and how to do it in a way that kind of makes it systematic. So what would be an example or a strategy that a sales leader could really use to tie all this together, so that way if a sales leader has a team of 15 SDRs, they're not just all off using the tools in any way? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I think that it kind of depends on organization. I would say the first thing is that as a sales leader, you need to determine whether you have the operational capabilities.
Yeah.
If you don't have it, I think that's okay. I think you just need a really strong operational partner.
Yeah.
So you can understand the business, but like you'll need someone who can build a lot of this for you. I would say the second thing is that you like pretty much need to understand like what other people are using. I mean, most of what I'm talking about are just like software.
Yeah. Of course.
You really just need you need like a CRM. But you need a CRM that integrates with other software solutions so that you can track this information. I would say like the website now can give the CRM a run for its money in terms of how important it is to a business.
Yeah.
So you need a really robust website. Like even if like your business, like your customers don't transact on the website, they engage you on the website, and you need to be able to track that engagement back to like the information that your salespeople see in the CRM. So you need those two systems to talk to each other. So I would say that like you also need like a sales leader that understands both systems, or at least have partners that do, so that like someone can put the picture together.
Yeah. So even if you're not a technically highly functional person, you can at least understand that you know the dashboard, and you have someone who can set that up for you and measure those key metrics. What would you first of all say are some of the key tools that someone who is effective in today's world has to at least either master themselves or have access to someone who can master? I mean, what would you say are those key tools right now? I mean, you mentioned already CRM, kind of website and tying that together. What else would you say?
Yeah, CRM is huge. Certainly website.
Yeah.
I would say like a set of sales enablement tools.
Yeah.
Certainly I work with HubSpot and we have a bunch of capabilities there. I think there are a ton of different players there. I think what's important though is the ability to, if you're using different pieces of software, you really need the ability to integrate all of it. We have some really good like call recording software as well, and that is phenomenal for coaching, because it just gives like managers the ability to just get a perspective as to like what type of conversations are happening, and also like what prospects are saying, because then you can glean that insight and just know whether like you need to start pivoting. Yeah.
That makes complete sense. So moving forward now, so we have an understanding of the tools. What metrics should someone be measuring? I mean, you mentioned at the beginning, 10 years ago, it was things like the number of calls, right? The opportunities in the pipeline. But what are some of the key metrics nowadays that a sales leader should really be focused on?
I can tell you one that we're looking to track here at HubSpot. And I think we're trying to figure out a really efficient and smart way to do it. So we're trying to track like how many referrals that we get from our customers. Yeah. Because, one of the things we realize is that our customers are our best source of growth. Of course. Right? Certainly with the flywheel methodology. So like if we believe that, then it means that our customers are amplifying our reach in the marketplace. And right now we're trying to figure out how can we track that reach. Like through the website we can track like, how many visitors come through, but like we need, we're trying to figure out like maybe like some of the visitors are coming through our customers, like how do we understand and track it back to the referral? Yeah. So I would say that's one. I think that the other way I think about reporting and KPIs is that it's not just choosing specific KPIs, it's actually thinking about reporting not as something that's static, but something that you can really drill down on. Yeah. So I would say that for my team, like the way we used to do reporting is that we have high-level reports, like we like copy and paste screenshots in there, and it's like, and you do a business review. Like with my team now, like I'm actually changing the reporting this year, whereby we have a set of static reports, but in the static reports there are like so many links that bring you into like drill down reports. Yeah. So that you can take a look, like I have a global business, you can look at the same view, like same metric on a like regional, country, team, and rep level. And then I think those provide you with the trends, and that helps you figure out like the very specific KPIs that are like the leverage of your business. And then you can constantly, honestly, like just change up what you're tracking. Yeah, that's so interesting. I mean, I see so many clients that are literally having a sales assistant basically like export the data into an Excel spreadsheet, and then it's this static piece of information. And so they can't do anything. But if you're actually staying within the CRM,
I mean, most CRMs nowadays have the ability to just drill down and really understand what's going on. I think that makes a ton of sense. You mentioned to me earlier, before we started this conversation, this idea of a pipeline scientist, is that a sales leader has to be a pipeline scientist. Help me understand what that means and how folks listening to this can start to implement some of those ideas.
Yeah. So I think like my former boss who hired me, Marc Wayshak, is the one who like introduced the term. And it's a really neat term because I think what it really brings attention to is the fact that you actually can understand what will be the output of your entire sales team through looking at metrics, right? Which also means that you need to be able to track the activities of your sales organization. So I still talk to sales teams that run their business out of spreadsheets.
Yeah, of course.
And if you do that, like you more or less, number one, lose that knowledge as soon as the person who owns that spreadsheet leaves. Yeah. And number two, like there's just no way to aggregate like data and capture insights when pretty much your business is spread across like 10 different spreadsheets across 10 different people who are probably managing it all in different ways.
Completely.
So like I would say that being a pipeline scientist is about first like just having a methodology where everyone is thinking, like all the sales reps on your team are like logging their sales activities. They're also using the same set of expectations around what to log. Yeah. And then you as a sales leader can take an aggregate view of all those activities and figure out like what's working well and what's not, and then make business decisions to like try to just make your sales process more efficient.
Yeah.
So just having that understanding just allows you to like just spend energy on the parts of the sales process that gets you leverage and helps you drive to better outcomes.
Yeah. I mean, I think one of the phrases that I always think that we as sales leaders want to avoid is just stopping by someone's desk and saying, "Oh, what have you been working on?" Right? Yeah. If you are effectively using your CRM, you should be able to just know that. Mm-hmm. What's amazing is that if you're not really using CRM and understanding what's going on to the pipeline and salespeople are, they've got a notebook where they're keeping track of some stuff and a spreadsheet, and it's like not having it in that one place is just, it's such a lost opportunity.
Yeah. And you also don't want to just go to a sales rep and say like, just do more calls.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you can get more output through that, but you can probably get more efficient output if you tell them like, do more calls, but also do this differently.
Yeah.
And I think that insight can help them be a more productive salesperson.
Yeah.
And just help you like run a more productive team.
Totally. And also if you can be tracking the types of people that they're making calls to, and then so you can really hone in so much. So I love this. This is so valuable. Just to tie it up, what would you say are one or two real tangible things that sales leaders can be doing today to improve the productivity of their sales organizations?
So, I mean, just like some advice to a lot of sales leaders out there in general, I would say that like if you don't have a strong analytical background, I would just spend time on activities that allowed you to build some of those skills.
Yeah.
For example, like, I encourage my team of managers to spend time on operationally heavy projects, like projects that just involves looking at a lot of data, like learning how to pull the data, learning how to run their business through gathering insights on that data. And I think just like that in itself is such an important skill set. I think it's just going to be like the baseline requirement of any sales leader in the future. Like you could probably get away a little bit right nowadays, like not having that skill set. But I think within a couple of years, that's going to be the expectation. Like if you're going to be a sales leader, it's like you need to be great with relationships. You need to be great at managing people. But like, man, you better be able to like identify the opportunities in your business through like a set of data and figure out how to pivot it.
Yeah, I love to see the trend. I mean, I see it in my work. I mean, the idea of the image, the archetypal image of a sales leader, I feel like is becoming nerdier and nerdier, which I think is really cool. Like the image of like in 1980 was totally Glengarry Glen Ross. It was like just Alec Baldwin coming in and just really hardcore. And now I think we just see that it's so much more nuanced. It's really focusing. We live in this amazing age where there's so much powerful data out there that, it just, if you're not utilizing it, you're just missing out so much.
Yeah. And, I think the businesses that use the data will understand their customers better. And if your customers are convinced that you understand them better, they will trust you more and you will win their business.
That's so powerful, right? I mean, the data, there's a direct line between the understanding the data and ultimately increasing sales.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Katie, this has been fantastic. I'm so grateful for you talking to us today. Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Of course. So there is my interview of Katie Ng-Mak, the VP of Global Partner Strategy and Operations at HubSpot, on how a world-class sales leader must adapt to the future of selling. And if you enjoyed this video, then I have an awesome free training on the data-driven approach to help you crush your sales goals. Just click right here to get registered instantly. Seriously, just click right here. This is an in-depth training that will help you close more sales at higher prices, all while generating more meetings. Also, if you got some value, please like this video below on YouTube and be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel by clicking my face right here to get access to a new video just like this one each week.